Have you ever wondered why some people manage to save more, pay fewer taxes, and avoid the tricks of the banks, while others live on the edge every month? It's not luck, it's knowledge. Most people don't know that there are financial hacks and saving tricks that can completely transform their personal finances. These are strategies that banks don't advertise and that very few apply, but those who know them use them to grow their money intelligently. In this video, you will discover 10 financial secrets that could change your relationship with money forever, including legal ways to reduce taxes and practical methods to save effortlessly. If you want to stop working only to pay debts and start building your financial freedom, subscribe to our channel, educate your wallet, and activate the bell. Learning how to manage money is the first step toward a life with less anxiety and more opportunities. For decades, banks have been the place where people keep their money. They demand taxes or open credit cards, but what many don't know is that behind this image of trust, there are financial mechanisms that benefit institutions more than the client. Knowing these tricks allows money to work for you and not the other way around. The first big trick banks don't want you to know is that paying your debts or credits every 15 days instead of once a month significantly reduces interest. This works because the money is amortized more often, which means that interest is calculated on a lower amount each period. For example, if someone has a $20,000 debt, paying bi-weekly could save hundreds or even thousands of dollars over time. It's a simple but powerful strategy. Another trick is linked to the smart use of credit cards. Many people think credit is extra money, when in reality, it's a tool that, if not used carefully, generates very costly debts. The key is to understand the statement cycle and the payment due date. If you make a purchase just after the closing date, you gain up to 45 days without interest. This allows you to finance a purchase without extra fees, as long as you pay the total before the due date. Banks don't show this because they live off the interest paid by those who fall into the minimum payment trap. Another trick that directly benefits the user is using free electronic transfers. Many banks still charge fees to move money between accounts, but there are alternatives or digital platforms that allow you to send and receive funds at no cost. Every dollar saved in fees is a dollar that can be invested or saved. Most banks don't encourage these alternatives because they represent a direct loss for them. Also, few people know that you can negotiate with the bank. If a client has a good history, has been punctual with payments, or has controlled products, it is completely valid to call and ask for account management fees or annual fees to be waived. In many cases, simply making the call is enough for the institution to agree so as not to lose the client. But if nobody asks, nobody offers. Finally, there's the trick of knowing your credit score and how to improve it. Even if the bank doesn't mention it, maintaining a low credit utilization ratio, paying on time, and having a healthy mix of financial products can raise your score, which means better conditions for future loans or cards. In summary, knowledge is power. Applying these simple tricks can generate real savings, avoid unnecessary debts, and give the client control of their money, something banks don't want to promote, but that everyone should learn to take care of their wallet. Number 2, how to pay fewer taxes legally. Paying taxes is a civic responsibility, but that doesn't mean you have to pay more than necessary. There are totally legal strategies to reduce your tax burden, and what's surprising is that most people simply don't use them because they don't know them. The key is to understand the system and use to your advantage the deductions, tax benefits, and tools that are already included in the law. One of the most effective ways to pay fewer taxes legally is to deduct authorized personal expenses, especially those related to education and health. For example, if someone pays for school tuition, professional refresher courses, or private medical services, many tax systems allow these expenses to be excluded from the total taxable income when calculating taxes. This means that the amount subject to taxation is lower, and consequently, you pay less. It is essential to keep all receipts and request the corresponding invoices. Another little-used tip is to consider yourself as self-employed or an independent professional. Even if at first glance it seems complicated, registering as a taxpayer offers great advantages. For example, a person working from home can deduct expenses like internet, electricity, stationery, office rent, and even gas if it's used for professional activities. All this reduces the taxable base, which means a smaller amount to pay in taxes each year. A third powerful resource is tax-deductible retirement plans. Many governments allow contributions to retirement funds or life insurance with savings to be deductible up to a certain annual limit. That is, in addition to saving for the future, you pay fewer taxes in the present. For example, if someone contributes $5,000 to their retirement fund, This amount is subtracted from their income when calculating taxes, which could represent significant savings. This type of strategy is frequently used by people with good financial knowledge. It's also important to mention that donations to authorized institutions can be deducted. If you make a donation to a registered nonprofit organization, that amount can be applied as a deduction. It's not only helping a noble cause, but also reducing your tax burden. Finally, there's the value of working with a reliable accountant or tax advisor. Many times, trying to file a tax return on your own can lead to mistakes that cost more in the long run. An expert can identify deductions you may not have known existed and make sure everything complies with the law, avoiding penalties or unnecessary taxes. In conclusion, paying fewer taxes doesn't mean evading, but intelligently taking advantage of what the law allows. These strategies are simple, they are within everyone's reach, and they can mean savings of hundreds or even thousands of dollars per year. Informing yourself, organizing expenses, and seeking professional advice is the ideal combination to protect your wallet without violating any rules. Number 3, tips for hidden expenses. Paying fewer taxes doesn't always mean making extreme sacrifices or avoiding everything you enjoy. In reality, real saving is based on financial intelligence, knowing how to identify daily opportunities to keep more without reducing quality of life. There are strategies that are little known, even hidden, which, when applied well, can make a huge difference at the end of the month. One of the most powerful and least applied habits is the 24-hour rule for non-urgent purchases. This simple trick consists of waiting at least one full day before making a purchase that is not essential. If, after that time, the need or desire persists, then you evaluate if it's really worth it. This method helps avoid impulsive purchases, which are often driven by emotions and not by real need. Over a year, this simple pause can save hundreds of dollars in unnecessary expenses. Another key is automating savings, which means a part of the money is automatically transferred to a separate account as soon as you receive your salary. Many people wait to see if there's money left to save at the end of the month, but in most cases, there never is. By automating the process, you ensure that saving becomes a priority, not an option. For example, if you save $100 per month, over a year, you'll accumulate $1,200 without even noticing it. Also, a very effective and little-used tip is using cashback or rewards programs. Many credit cards and online shopping platforms offer rewards of a percentage of the amount spent, even if it seems small, for example, 3%. Over time, this can represent a considerable amount. The key is to use these cards only for planned purchases and to pay the total before the due date to avoid interest. This way, you get money back without debt. Another commonly seen tip is buying off-season. For example, buying clothes at the end of the season or school supplies during clearance sales allows you to access much lower prices. This also applies to appliances, furniture, and tech products. Planning purchases in advance can mean savings of up to 50% of the original price. Finally, there's the technique of making weekly budgets instead of monthly ones. Dividing monthly money into 4 parts allows for better control of expenses and avoids running out of money halfway through the month. It's easier to follow a 7-day plan than a 30-day one, and you have a clearer view of where each dollar is going. In summary, real money management is not about earning more, but about spending better. These secret tips don't require effort, only a bit of discipline and strategy. Those who apply them are surprised to see how much money can be saved without major sacrifices and how, with small, smart decisions, you can build lasting financial stability. Financial knowledge is one of the most powerful tools a person can acquire. And today, it has been shown that there are tricks, strategies, and habits that can completely transform the way we manage money. Understanding the mechanisms that banks prefer to keep secret, applying legal ways to reduce taxes, and discovering secret tips, each practice represents an opportunity to protect and multiply every hard-earned dollar. The most important thing is to understand that it's not about working more, but about working with financial intelligence. The difference between those who succeed in achieving economic stability and those who live on the edge month after month is not the taxes, but how they manage those taxes. That's why applying what you've learned in this video can mark a before and after in anyone's life. If this content was useful, the best is yet to come. On the channel Educate Your Wallet, videos are published every week to teach you how to better manage money, reduce taxes, invest intelligently, and build financial freedom step by step. So, if you haven't already, subscribe now to the channel Educate Your Wallet and activate the notification bell. Investing a few minutes in financial education can be worth more than years of aimless work. Remember, the power of your wallet lies in your knowledge.